So in the morning session, we were discussing implementation of a thread, and we gave a clear idea how exactly the start method and the run method need to be used, right? So we have seen different scenarios. What happens if you are not writing a run method? What happens if you are overriding a start method? Can we call your parent class a super method from a user defined start method, right? So we have seen all these things, and we got a clear conclusions with respect to program also, right? Now in this particular session we are going to discuss how to create a thread, right? How to create a thread by implementing a runnable interface. Okay, so before we proceed further, let me draw a small diagram for you. Diagram in the sense, it's so means what are the things we have done until now is we were having some thread class, right? So I'm just telling what are the things we have done until now. We were having a some thread class, and by using our user defined class, we used to extend this particular thread class. Okay, so with respect to our example, this was something like what is called as my thread, right? So this is what we have done. That means there was a thread class, so we used to extend that particular thread class, right? So later by using a my thread, by using this particular my thread, we used to override what is called as run method, right? So this is what we have done till now. Okay, internally this particular thread class, internally this particular thread class will be implementing an interface which is called as runnable interface. Okay, now what are the things we have done is we followed this particular approach. We have followed this particular approach. We have extended a thread class, right? So by extending a thread class, we were implementing this particular run method, right? Now what I am saying is this was a one approach, right? So what has been done in this particular approach is there is an interface called runnable. That particular interface has been implemented by thread class, and you were extending that particular implemented thread class. Okay, now what I'm saying is instead of doing this one, can't we directly go to this particular part, something like I directly want my thread class, my thread class, my thread class to implement, to implement what is called as this particular runnable interface. Question is, we are going to follow this particular approach, and then later we will discuss which particular approach is feasible, and in which scenario we need to go with which particular kind of a procedure, right? So this was the first process which we have done, and now I am asking you, so means now we will be discussing how to implement, right? How to implement this particular runnable interface, this particular runnable interface using our own defined class. Is that clear with the idea? Okay, now can I say that your interfaces will be having abstract methods? Abstract method means there will not be any definition written, only declaration of a method will be there, right? Interface, right? Now keep one point in mind. This particular run method, this particular run method, see, when this particular thread is implementing a runnable means, implementing a runnable in the sense, I am saying that this run method is the abstract method of a runnable interface, right? What I'm saying is this particular run method is an abstract method in a runnable interface, right? Once a thread implements a runnable, it will be giving a definition for a run method, right? So what a definition was given for a run method in a thread class? Null definition, nothing was written. It was just a run method and no description was written, right? So that is the reason why we were getting a blank output. We didn't get any error saying that run has not been defined, right? So initially run method is abstract method in a runnable interface. Your thread class implements a runnable interface, but it won't give any definition. It will be a null defined run method. So that was the reason why you are not getting any output. If you are just writing a run method, not writing anything in that. Or if you don't write a run method also, you are not shown any error, right? We said that the parent class run method will execute, right? So what I'm saying is, with respect to this particular interface, there will be a abstract method which is called as a run, right? So now what we have to do is, once you are implementing a runnable interface in this particular class, we need to override. That means we need to give a definition for this particular run method. Understood overall idea? Okay, so let me clear these particular drawings and let us see an example how to implement a runnable interface, right? So the topic which what we are discussing is creating a thread by implementing runnable interface. Okay, so class my thread implements, right? What you need to implement? You need to implement what is called as a runnable interface. Syntactically correct, right? This is how you will be implementing interface. Okay. Now we need to override a method in a runnable interface. What is that particular method? Void run. Yes, this method need to be implemented. Okay, so let us not give a much details with respect to that particular method, just to check is it working or not. Println from clear. Now spelling mistake with respect to static. Okay, my thread t is equal to new my thread. Sir, enable is an runnable is an interface or class? Runnable is the interface. That is the reason why I'm using a keyword called implements. If it was a class, you cannot use the implements. You have to use the extends. So we are creating a class which is called as a mythread and which is implementing an interface called as runnable interface. Now, as there was a method in a runnable interface, abstract method, which was called as a run, so you are giving a definition for that particular run over here, right? And this is considered as the job of the thread, right? So creating an object of this particular my thread, right? So what is the next statement to be written? This much. Will it work fine if we write like this? T dot start. Where is the start method? Have you written a start method in your class, whichever class you have defined? You have created a class called a mythread, right? Do you have a start method over there? Do you have a start method in a class mythread? You have not defined. Not defined, right? When you have not defined, you said that in the last example, if you have not defined, then a parent class start method will execute. Do you have any parent child relationship now? You are not extending any class, right? You are implementing, right? When you are implementing, obviously that particular runnable will not be having a start method. Runnable interface has got only one method, which is called as run. We don't have a start method. Now let me just cross check what it will show. So means if I am executing in this particular fashion, what might be the error? What it will say? Java C dot Java. What it is saying? Java line number 14 error cannot find a symbol t dot start. That means it is saying that I am not able to identify whatever you are talking about, which start method you are talking about. You didn't write anything in a local, right? You are not extending any thread class. Then how can you go with a thread this particular start method? So this is what it is saying now. Where exactly the start method is there? Start method is there with respect to a thread class. Okay, now let me do one thing. Thread, right? I'm creating a thread now. Okay, th, this is a my thread, is equal to new thread. Is it possible? Can we write something like this? Th dot start. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating an object of a thread class, right? By creating an object of a thread class, I am calling a method called th dot start, right? Shall we check now? Will it work fine? Think well and answer. Will it work fine? Will I get output now saying that from thread? Yes sir. Okay, Shaifullah, no sir. Okay, Shaifullah, if no means why? What might be the reason? Listen, and let us just cross check. Will it work or not? Will it show any error or will it show output saying that from thread? Java C runnable demo. No errors, no errors, no errors. Okay, let us check what might be the output if no errors. No output also. What's happening? Why it is not executing this particular job? What was the problem? The problem was simple thing. See, you have created object of a t. That means means this particular t is nothing but object of this particular my thread, right? Okay, so you have created object of a my thread. Okay, intention of creating this particular object is to perform this particular job, right? Intention of creating this particular object was to perform this particular job, right? Now what you have done in the next statement, you wrote thread th is equal to new thread. That means you are starting, so means you are creating object of a thread class, means separate thing. This line is separate, this line is separate. Now what is the thing that you have done in the next statement? You wrote th dot start. That means whichever object has been created with respect to this particular statement, line number 14, with respect to that particular object you are calling a start method, right? Have you given any implementation here? Null run method is there in this particular class called a thread. You didn't link this particular job, you didn't link this particular job with respect to this particular thread. What I'm saying is you didn't link this particular run method. You are not saying that to execute this particular run method. What you are saying is you just saying that you execute a run method which belongs to this particular thread, means this particular class. What implementation is there? Nothing is there. Now, if I want to link saying that you execute this particular run method, right? What I have to do is while creating a thread object, I need to specify that you create object for this one, for a T. Now, let me just cross check. Am I linked my user defined thread to that particular my thread object or not? Got the point? Whether the things were clear? When you are creating a thread, when you are creating a thread, you are explicitly saying that you take this particular user defined thread, right? So this is our user defined thread, right? You take this particular user defined thread as the argument, right? So for that means I'm explicitly saying that with respect to this particular object, there is a run method you have to execute. That means once you execute a start method, you are telling to this particular start method saying that don't execute your thread class run method. With respect to this one, with respect to t, I have a run method defined. You start that particular run method. Any questions with respect to this particular example? If you don't have any questions, then we will discuss what is the difference in extending a thread class and in implementing runnable interface, and in which scenario you have to go with this. Nowadays, you people have become so intelligent that you are not getting any questions itself. That much saturated with respect to Java, maybe. Understanding the topics are completely bouncing. Okay, right. So let us not waste much of a time. So means you are not posting any questions. Means I feel like can tell about runnable more. You see, runnable is an interface which is having method called a run. Okay, runnable is an interface which is having an abstract method which is called as run. Right? If you see internal architecture, how the things have been placed means there is a something called as a runnable interface. Your class thread will be implementing a runnable interface, right? So you have a two approaches of creating a thread. One approach is you can extend a thread class, and another approach is you can implement runnable method. Okay, be clear with where exactly the methods are there. In a runnable, you have a run method. In a runnable interface, you have a run method. And in a thread class, you have a start method. Right? So what was the purpose of a start method? We have already discussed. Now, the thing is, when you want a run method to execute, right? When you want thread property to be given, when you want run method to execute, that particular run method will be executed by the start method. That means you have to call a start method. So start method in turn will call the run method. Right? Now it is your responsibility to start the thread in a proper place and call that particular suitable run method. Right? In our example, if I'm not passing this particular argument, right, this particular th, right, so this particular th dot start you are writing, right, so this particular start will call the run method which is defined in a thread class, right? Here we are not extending a thread. If we were extending a thread, then it might have run this particular job for us. What we have done is we are implementing runnable. That means we are not talking about a run method which is there in a thread class. We are directly implementing a runnable method, right? So what we have to do is when you are creating a thread in this particular scenario, you are implementing a runnable means you need to pass a runnable object, right? So here you are giving an indication that thread should not be a normal thread which is means you are saying that this th is not a normal object of a thread class, rather this is of a type of this particular t. That means you are referring that this t is having some methods. That means this particular run method, so you wanted to have a thread which has got that particular run method property. What if we write t dot run? Yes, no problem. But in that scenario, you will not get a thread property, right? Concurrent execution kind of stuff will not happen. It will be just like a function call. Output will be same, but it will not be a thread concept. This t dot run even we discussed with respect to extending a thread also. right? If you are directly calling a run method, then you are executing your program in a sequential fashion. You are not going with the thread concept, multi-threading kind of a stuff. It will be just a sequential execution of a program. Another question in the chat box. Sir, why are going with this approach of implementing runnable instead of just extending a thread class? Yes, that is my next question, which I will answer. If you don't have a questions with respect to this particular implementation of runnable, then I'll go with the difference and when to use a what. Okay, hope no questions with respect to implementing runnable. Let us discuss difference. Say for example, if I am writing class X extends thread. Valid way of writing a statement. Now the question is, class X is extending a thread class. Okay, that is fine. Once you extend class X, once it extends a thread class, what are the methods which will be available for a class X? It will be having a some means from this particular X class, you can override a start method, you can override a run method also. Right. So till now, no confusions. Great combination also. Now, if my requirement is slightly different in the sense, I don't want this particular class X to extend this particular thread class because see, if I remove this particular extends thread, whether it is a normal class itself, I might be having a requirement such that my normal class should extend some parent class. I'm not saying some parent class might be anything. Say for example, here I might be having a one more class called a Y, right? So under a class called a Y, I might be having a methods called something like this. Void M1, there is some method here, some definition has been given, right? Now my intention is I want this class X should extend this particular Y also. Can it be done? Can this particular class X along extending a thread class, can it extend the Y class also? Parent child relationship, I wanted to go with a normal inheritance. I don't, so means my class I want to go, so means I want a methods, both M1 method and a start method and run method, everything I want in my class X. Is it possible? See, when your class, that means when class X don't, so means your requirement is not to extend any other classes except the thread class. If your intention is not to extend any other classes except the thread class, you can go with this particular approach. If your requirement is I wanted to extend some other class, right, along with that I wanted a thread behavior also, right? In that scenario you have to go with implements runnable, right? So why this particular scenario is not possible? Because your Java won't support multiple inheritance, right? So when won't support a multiple inheritance, this particular class X cannot extend the two classes at a time, right? So when you are not able to extend the two classes at a time, I might be having such a requirements where I need to go with the extension of two classes, right? So if your class, if this particular class is in a requirement such that it need to extend some other class along with the thread class, then go with the implementing runnable. Clear with the idea when to go with what kind of a scenario? That means when to go with extending a thread class and when to go with implementing a runnable interface. Expecting acknowledgement in the chat box. If you are clear, then we will discuss one small program and we will end up a session. Repeat it. Means when to go with what? You want me to repeat when to go with what? See, point number one is You cannot have a multiple inheritance with respect to a Java. You cannot have a multiple inheritance with respect to Java. Now, with respect to this particular mythread class, if it want to extend some other classes, right? Say for example, I have a one more class here, say something like abstract class X. This is the abstract class. Now, abstract void m1. This is the abstract method in that particular class. If the requirement is, right, class my thread should extend that particular X also, and at the same time it should implement runnable also. If this is a scenario, then you need to go with a runnable, implements runnable, because you cannot extend the two classes at a time, right? So within this particular scope, you can give definition for this particular M1 method. Clear? So by using this particular T, you can call M1 directly. Expected bracket extends, not extend. Put out in Java. This is example, right? If you are extending a thread, this cannot be possible because I cannot write extend. So means class my thread extends X extends thread also, cannot be written. So if you have a requirement of extending some other class, then you need to go with the implementing runnable interface. Shall we take a small another example? Creating a multi-threads. Multi-thread means I'll be creating more than one thread in a one program. Shall we? If you don't have any doubts with respect to this. Okay. Now, what I said, multi-threading, right? So I think I have created a Java file for that. Okay. So here I have just created a Java file. Requirement is something like this. I need to create I have to create two threads. One thread, right? So thread number one should generate even numbers. Okay, thread number one. Okay, and your thread two should generate odd numbers. Simple. Shall we write a program? Okay. So now for this particular program, this means we are just going with the multi-threading concept. So for this one, let us go with our first approach, extending a thread class, right? So extending a thread class, let us create two classes for two different threads, right? Class, I will say something as a odd, okay? So let this class extends thread class. Any one of you, if you have any confusions with respect to previous example also, now if you concentrate, you will understand everything. Okay, intention is we need to create two threads, and one thread work is to generate even numbers and another thread work is to generate odd numbers. Okay, so okay, so let us implement that. I mean, so let us give a definition for our run method. Public, okay, void run, right? So with respect to run, let me write a try and a catch blocks. Try here, catch. Why I'm writing a try catch block is I wanted to go with some sleep method. Okay, I'll not write anything with respect to catch, but with respect to try block, I will give a implementation for a printing odd number. Okay, so how to print odd numbers? For int I is equal to 0, I is less than some, let us take 50. Okay, I plus plus. This is my counter. Okay, so within this particular counter, if when you will be calling a number as a odd, if I mod 2, if I mod 2 is not equal to 0, right, so then a number will be a odd number. Okay, right, so within this system dot out dot println, whatever is the value of I, that I will print. After printing a value of I, that means odd number, I will tell my thread to sleep for 2 seconds. Any questions with respect to any point of the line, you can post. Class odd extends a thread implementing a run method. So just wrote a try catch because I will be writing the sleep method. So for int I is equal to 0, I less than a 15, so means from a 0 to 15, I just wanted to print whatever the odd numbers are. So after printing each number, I am making a my thread to sleep for 2 seconds. Clear with the things? Shall we proceed with a class called a even? Not wrote anything with respect to catch block. Right? I am sure that there will not be any errors with respect to these. Clear? Shall we write a even method now? Have she slept or what? Copied the same thing. Let me paste the same instructions. Okay. So now instead of a odd, let me make class as a even. Okay. So what extra thing need to be done? Here it should be equal to 0. Clear with the changes, right? So this class is implementing a run method, which job of this particular thread is to print odd numbers. There is a one more class which is extending a thread class and implementing a run method. That means overriding a run method. And this particular job of a thread is to print even numbers. Right? Are we done with the definition of a thread? Definition of a thread is done, right? Within a definition itself, we have told what a job has to be done with respect to those threads. Super. Now let us create those threads. Okay. So what was the class name? Odd O is equal to new odd. Right? O dot start. Clear, right? Okay. Even E is equal to new even E dot start. Right? So initially how exactly the things will work, I'll just explain you once you say java c file name dot java, compilation will be done, class file will be generated. Once you say java followed by a file name, that means a class name, your JVM will be looking for the main method. Right? Once it finds a main method, it will be starting a main thread. Yes, starting a main thread. Right? So once a main thread has been started, the main thread will be creating object called as odd. Right? Later it will be starting o dot start. That means that particular thread will be start. Right? So once you are starting a thread, the run method with respect to this particular thread will come into existence. Right? After this particular point, you will be having a two threads in action. One is main thread and another one is thread O. Right? So which is, what is the job of this particular thread? Its job is to run, so means its job is to print odd numbers. Right? When you have a two threads, obviously it depends to a thread scheduler which thread need to be given a priority. right? Now when a main method has been given a priority, what it will do, it will execute a further instructions, right? It will create object called a e. Okay, e dot start will happen. Once e dot start will happen, what happens is, at this particular point you will be having a main followed by o followed by e. Three threads are there now, right? So what happens with respect to o, what it will do, it will call this particular run method, right? After printing a some value, it will go for a sleep. When it go for a sleep, your main method can come into action. When a main method comes into action, it is going to create one more child thread, right? So once a child thread has been created, what it will happen, so this particular child thread is calling this particular run method, printing a one particular even number, sleeping for some 2 seconds, right? So after this particular line, you will be having these three threads in a pool. It is up to the scheduler which thread will be given the priority and which thread will be executing its job, right? So let us check what will be the output of this particular program. Then we will be having a few conclusions to be drawn. Java C, file name.java, no errors. Printing the numbers in a random fashion. First odd number, even number, odd number, even number, odd, even, odd, even. Anything is possible. Finished. Let me run it once again. 10, 32, 54, 76, 89, 10, 11. Now even number is given a priority. 12, 13, 14. C. Right? So two threads in action, whichever thread will get a priority or whichever thread is ready, so that particular thread will be allowed for the execution. Right? And we clearly said that whenever you have a concurrent execution of a statements need to be done, then only you have to go with a concept called as threads. Right? So program is in front of you. If you have any questions, you can post a questions in a chat box. The concept of a threads is very important because it will change your program's performance a lot, especially if some if you are developing applications with respect to a android kind of a stuff, android mobile applications, or if you are working with any diamond application in the sense, if you want to happen some task in the background, right? So in all those scenarios, your thread plays a very important role. Okay, and every time whenever you come across a term called a thread, you have to fix one particular point, saying so means what is that particular point is, these threads will be working independently and the output will not be in a sequential fashion, it will be in a random fashion based on based on the provision given by that particular time scheduler or a thread scheduler. Okay, so whichever thread will be allowed, so means based on a thread scheduler, the thread scheduler for whichever thread it will give you a priority, so that particular thread will be under execution, right? You cannot predict exact output, right? So you should get output, so means it is not like you should not get output, so you cannot predict in which order those things will be executed, right? So intention is to gain more from your processor, right? So that is the only intention. If you have any questions, you can post. Shaifullah has got a question. Sir, can you please explain last part? Are you talking about output or in a program last part? Okay, main function again. Okay, sir, can we use two times a sleep so that it should print odd number, then a sleep for 2 seconds, and the next should print even, and again sleep for 2 seconds, then go further steps. If you want to go see, actually in a further later classes we will be discussing what is called as a synchronized blocks and all. Synchronized in the sense we will be telling which thread should be under execution, which thread should be under a sleep only, right? So those things we will discuss further. So can you explain main function again? Main function again. Okay. See, let me remove all these things, not to create any confusion. Say for example, you have a two classes, right? One is a odd class and another one is a even class. Now, if I say odd O is equal to new odd, am I creating object of a odd class, right? Once I say O dot start in the sense, am I creating a thread of odd class? That means that particular printing odd number thread is an action now. Okay, after this particular statement, how many threads will be available for us? Two threads will be available. One is the main thread and another one is your odd thread, o thread. Okay, now if I run my program at this particular point, java c only odd numbers is printing, odd numbers are printing, right? Because you have not created object of a even number, not started that particular thread under execution, you didn't allow that particular thread to execute, so only odd numbers are printing, right? After printing all the odd numbers, right, you have given a limit till 15, right? So till 15 all the odd numbers have been printed, that means less than 15 you said. So till 14 all the odd numbers have been printed, so nothing has to be done with respect to that particular thread. So main method is also having a no other statements to be executed, so everything has been stopped, right? Say for example, if I had a something called a system dot out dot println here, say for example main method, right? So who will be executing this particular statement? Obviously your main method should execute. See, first it has finished the main method, then it is giving a priority for that particular child thread to finish its printing of all odd numbers, right? Once job is finished, once a job of that particular thread is finished, that is going to end. Once job of that particular thread is finished, that is going to end. Now what I will do is, yes, as far as no problem, fine. Now here I'll create one more thread, even e is equal to new even, right? E dot start, that means I'm starting a one more thread. What is the job of this particular thread? Job of this particular thread is to print even numbers, right? So now let me just run the program once and cross check. Odd as printed, even as printed, odd even, odd even, odd even. See, once one thread is going to sleep, another thread is under execution, right? Once one thread is under a sleep, another thread came to execution. Multi-threading, multitasking, I mean ultimately multi-threading gives you a multitasking only. Clear with output. And here I cannot assure that every time a odd number, so means odd will be given a priority than a even. It is not like that. It completely depends on a thread scheduler, right? So odd even, 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 even. Okay, see here after 11 it is see uh, 1032. What I mean to say is every time the output will not be in the same fashion. It depends on, oh sorry, it depends on for which thread it has given a priority. Sometimes you might be getting the same output also. We cannot predict that part. Is it given the same output? 11, 10, 13, 12, 14. Yes, same. So means we cannot predict how exactly the things will happen. It completely depends on your thread schedule. Hope I answered this question. Okay, so with respect to threads, we have discussed multi-threading fundamentals. Okay, creating a thread using a thread class and a runnable interface. Okay, creating multiple threads. Now we have seen example also. Multiple threads. Each thread is doing a separate job. Okay, determining when a thread ends. When a thread ends means when it finishes the execution of instructions in a run method. That time your thread will finish its execution. Right. So in the next classes we need to discuss thread priorities, synchronization, synchronization methods, and there are a few other methods like a notify, wait, notify all, suspending a thread. See, from this particular point onwards, that means after this particular thread ends, like when it comes to a thread priorities and all, we will be talking about more than one thread. Right, so till now whatever we have seen, we have kept our discussion only with respect to creating one thread. Right, from now onwards we will be discussing how to deal with the more than one thread. Right, how to notify, that means how to stop one thread, how to give access to another thread to execute, how to make those two threads to synchronize. That means once after executing, after finishing execution of one thread, how to allow another thread for execution. Right, if it has finished, that has to be notified. Right, so how that particular notify method will work. Right, so controlling the two threads will be a next topic. Clear with the stuff? Again I'm telling you, if you are not clear with the starting two lines of the syllabus, you will never understand what we are talking about the later three lines of the syllabus. Right, if you don't have any questions, you can leave the session. Thanks for participation, thanks for making it as an interactive.